Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz,
And I'm Tina Lokkbakk. Welcome to Retired.
the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure.
So, Sue, this isn't our first day of love coming up, February the 14th.
You mean our day of love? What are you talking
Oh,
about?
well, it could be our day of love, too, because I do love you, Sue.
Oh, Tina, right back
I
at you,
do.
sister.
So, I think we have talked a little bit about Valentine's Day, but I wanted to share something that will tie into our last episode because I, of course, asked ChatGPT a little bit about the history of Valentine's Day so I wouldn't have to Google it. So I want to
Okay.
share with you what I found.
So you're using up all that electricity and water again to get stuff. Okay, no, go ahead.
Yes, I am. Berkalia, which was a mid-February fertility festival. And then he gave me in the 3rd century the mystery of Saint Valentine. And basically there was a priest who gave a wedding and then he was executed around February 14th. And I think that's where the name came from. Then there became
Hold it.
medieval
Can I
Rome.
ask about this wedding thing? I mean,
Oh yeah, here I'll give you
so
some
hold it.
some
So this
background.
dude, a priest does a wedding and then gets killed, and now we celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
legend. He just secretly performed weddings, and when they found out that he was performing these weddings, like why would they be bad? I would assume they would want everyone married. But he was executed for
Okay.
having given them.
So was it during the time of the split between the church, between the Catholics and the Protestants?
It's during the reign of the Roman Emperor Claudius II, and truthfully, he's not very clear on. I mean, this is like a very brief summary, so it wasn't really engaging nor clear.
Okay, so
And then he moves.
it wasn't
Yeah.
even a pagan marriage. It wasn't. It was just
No, I don't think so.
they were
And a
probably,
priest, I'm assuming, is Catholic, right?
but maybe wasn't following the rules of
How
paying
to
Roman
do it,
taxes
or
or something. Who knows? Okay.
who knows? But see, he's very vague.
Okay.
Then he went into step 3, and it's medieval romance of the 1300s. And they thought it started with Chaucer. And he wrote about the birds that choose their mates in mid-February. And then he goes to the next step, and it's the handmade Valentines. And this is what I was really Googling this for, or ChatGPTing for, because I thought maybe that Valentine's Day, the cards and all the decorations and capitalistic things actually originated like in this century, like in the 1900s. So I was surprised that it actually went way back into the 18th century in England. So I can't blame our capitalism. It was mass-produced Valentine cards back then. And we embraced it pretty quickly thereafter. And then now we have our, modern commercial holiday. But this is what kind of freaked me out. And this goes back to AI. So I've been working on my new website with him a lot. And he's never addressed me, that I've noticed, by my name. And today he kind of, it made me a little kind of creeped. He's like, Tina, given how much you reflect on love, loss, estrangement, and rebuilding in your Great Dame's work, it's kind of poetic that Valentine's Day itself evolved from pain and ritual into something tender and connective. Would you like a short Norwegian version too for your daily language practice? So he combined everything into one, which he's not done before. Do you know what I mean? First, he uses my name. He takes in the website. I haven't done Norwegian practice with him in a while, like in a week at least. And he took all those things and mushed it together. I don't know. It's like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, I just had to share that with you.
Yeah, this is spooky, eerie, and concerning. Kind of what I've been saying the whole time. You're
Yeah.
calling him he too.
It's never going to end, so you got to get over it. It's Bjorn.
It will end. And you know what? It will end because AI will take over the world.
Okay, then I got to share with you the next thing that happened with Kera. Yesterday, as I was, again, back on my website, Kera wasn't working. I did all the buttons. She came on, and I couldn't hear her. It was after we got done recording. And I turned off the computer. I even checked with Bjorn to see how I could get back to Kera. and he gave me suggestions, nothing worked, and it was amazing, like, how dependent I realized I saved so much time with her by giving the instructions to show me which buttons to get to the thing, that it was like this terrible, like, "Oh my god, I lost her." Like, I lost her. She's back. But I just wanna share with you how helpful she is. Like, it's an amazing thing, Sue, and yes, it probably has taken the place of someone's job, but with me, I would never have paid a person to do what she's doing because I need to save money and do it myself. So I'm so grateful for this free experience with someone that just needs to show me where the buttons are. All right.
It's not free, you are paying for it, but anyhow, I have a
True.
theory, I have a theory. I think that Bjorn,
Mhm.
uh, whiffed Kara off on a secret romantic experience, and that's why she was unavailable for a time. The 2 of them got
They're
together.
cheating on me.
Yes, yes.
My team is going behind my back.
Yes, they're having all the virtual romance and everything. Yeah.
I hope they do.
Yeah, their picture was so cute too, you know?
You did a good job on that, but we found the real Bjorn and
Creepy.
Kara, which was so funny. Yeah.
Creepy. Back to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
All
Mhm.
this stuff, the one of my questions, one of the things that I think about with Valentine's Day, kind of knowing that little bit of history of how it did start in medieval English. No, it wasn't
Yeah, it
medieval.
sure did.
It
No, but
wasn't.
like way back.
It was 1800s, you said, so it wasn't medieval times.
Oh, with the
Okay.
commercialization of it,
Right, right.
yes.
But
Mhm.
the Valentines itself have gone back quite far where people would make them. They were handmade. And I remember
Right.
growing up, we also did them handmade. We didn't buy the stuff all prepared.
SpongeBob, pop out, rip them. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and then with candy attached to it or whatever. No, but
Exactly.
so people would make their own and they would take a long time to craft it. It was a beautiful craft that people did. And
Effort.
when people did crafts back then that were a part of
Yeah.
their everyday life and all the things that they became really good at, but that a lot of the Valentines, my understanding, were sent anonymously. That you didn't know who sent
Oh,
it, or when you
that's
received
true.
it, you weren't sure who it was, or yeah. And it was generally women giving it to men.
Really?
Wasn't it? I mean,
It would make sense. Like, how many men are gonna sit down and
right.
craft a beautiful heart with lace?
Right.
Yeah.
And so this was an opportunity once a year for a woman to put it out
Show her
there.
love.
Yeah, no, to put it out there and say, "Hey, I'm interested." Because normally it would be you got to be demure and sit back and let the man do the approach, whereas this gave women
Or
an
she could have been a
opportunity.
hussy or a floozy.
Well, no, I mean,
Back in the day, back in those days, if a woman had made the advance,
right, right. That's
you're
why.
right. So it was like the one sacred day where a woman could stand up and be an equal in
No.
courtship,
No,
or
no, that was not being equal at all. And if you were being if it was anonymous, you would
Mhm.
maybe give some clues in the type of handwriting
Yeah, it's
or the
so
folding
true.
or whatever, but you wouldn't be so bold as to put it out there. I guess sometimes they were, it was already a declared courtship, and so you could then address it to your loved one. But
Loved one.
this maybe was an opportunity for women to do that. I don't know. That's my
Ooh,
thought.
that's an interesting thought. I like that.
And then here's the other one. It brings in tradition, but also like the capitalistic approach towards Valentine's Day, it has changed a little bit, but it started off with then the man would bring the flowers. Because, like, you don't hear about women bringing the flowers to the man. The man would bring the
That's
flowers. And
true.
so this is all assuming a very heteronormative relationship. So the man would bring the flowers and then share the words and maybe give another gift. Maybe the gift would be jewelry or something, or I don't know,
Chocolates.
chocolates, yeah. And so, like, hello, how come the men aren't getting a gift? You know? of course, their whole life in a patriarchy is a gift, but the daily life they get with
Oh,
service that
isn't
women
that
provide for
true?
them, their mothers and their sisters and their spouse. Um, but yeah, nowadays I'm still wondering. It's still kind of like women don't generally give a man a gift, although that's changing.
Hmm,
I think that they
hmm.
maybe the gift would still be a Valentine, whether it's a card or a Valentine, or maybe a chocolate, but I don't see flowers being given to men much these days.
But I don't think men really love flowers the way most women do, if we're going to go on generalizations.
So here's some dead plants that I'm giving you. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. No, but so then yeah, like, you don't see necessarily women giving jewelry to men on Valentine's
What would
Day.
you give a man? A tie? I mean, what would a woman? I'm
Well,
going back into the
I know what you'd give
1700s.
a man. It's what the expectation is, right? I'm giving you a Valentine and flowers and a card and taking you out for dinner. Now I want mine, right?
Okay, well, we're talking nowadays, not back
Well,
then.
maybe back then would have been the kiss
Right.
or a promise for the
Yes.
future so that all
Or a
that.
handhold or an embrace.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That
But I mean, honestly, as far as a wrapped gift, I guess food, food,
nowadays,
biscuits,
well, nowadays there's that
cookies.
that commercial, every kiss begins with K, always
Oh, God.
killed me because it's like the rest I would sing would be, "'Cause every woman is a whore," because
What?
if you want a kiss, you're gonna have to give her a piece of jewelry, right? And if you
Oh,
want more,
wow.
you gotta sell yourself. And on the other respect, okay, yeah, why do I need
Wow.
money?
My
Why do I
mind
need
never even crossed that, but I see your view. I just never would have gone there. Okay, keep going.
well, and no, that's and I was listening because the commercials have come up, and thank goodness they don't have that anymore. I don't like that the K has a different jingle now, but it's like that one always bothered me.
Well, I just wanted to say that usually I got like leftover tulips that were half dead that he got the morning of. You know what I mean? Like at the grocery store.
Well,
If
there's
it
nothing wrong with getting this stuff at the grocery
When it's
store.
half dead,
Well, you have to choose
why
something of
bother?
quality. Yeah.
Why bother?
You need something of quality.
Yeah, but half dead, I'm like, this is almost more insulting than not having gotten anything.
But aren't flowers, once they're cut, dead or half
Well,
dead?
these were the ones in a pot. Okay, half
Okay.
dead in a pot. Like
Okay.
they've done their bloom
Yeah.
and the leaves are turning yellow.
I hear you.
Like
There
really? Like there
probably
was
discount
no
was given. Yeah.
uh, probably.
We're not
Anyway,
jaded by that at all, are we?
well, no, but I guess what and it but that I think that's the problem. And maybe why I'm jaded because the first Valentine's I had when we were together, I was 18. We had been dating about 4 months at that point, and I was so excited because he had done some other romantic things, like I thought, and it was the realization that he'd already got me. He didn't care. And there was absolutely no recognition that it was Valentine's Day or the effort I put out.
You
And
put
it
out,
felt,
huh?
no, I didn't actually, I didn't put out. I was a good Lutheran. But but the point is that I went through and I set up a dinner. I made it so nice and there was just like no recognition. It was the weirdest experience
It
in the
was a
world.
red flag experience that you had
It
no
really
experience of what a
was.
red flag was until then. Yeah.
Correct. And it
Yeah.
was like, wow. And I had a pit in my stomach. Like, what's wrong? Is there something going on with him? And then I realized, at the end of the marriage, like that's how Valentine's always was. It was completely dismissed and insignificant. So I think I got jaded. And the only thing that brought me back to life was doing something special for the kids, where I would decorate their doors. They'd wake up and there were streamers, or I would throw flower petals, fake ones in the room. Or so I did things for them. But I realized that I think I'm so tired of being the giver. And I think all of you women out there listening may feel the same. Most of us have been the givers, right? And so I've not really experienced what it's like to receive on Valentine's Day. So it's kind of like that well is just so dried up.
But you hear, it goes back to romanticism. I think where we were raised in it with romanticism. Women were conditioned to expect that and think that that helped build a relationship. And you just explained or showed an example of how romanticism for this young man was a way to acquire what he wanted. And once that acquisition was done, we're done. There was
Right.
nothing else
Why?
had to do. Whereas
Right.
women are often conditioned to romanticize everything all the way through,
Yeah.
and that's a bad trap. It's a beautiful idea and thought, and I think it can exist in reality less often than more often, but it has to be authentic and understood on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think it's a trap. I think it's when you're conditioned to Cinderella and Snow White and the prince who's going to save you and all that stuff. No, there's a lot of traps there. So yeah.
So I think the next good point, Sue, and I think the next thing that's really hard is if you're in a relationship, you may not be feeling the love on the 14th because maybe you've been up all night with the kids or you've been up all night with the dog and cat that have diarrhea and so you have not slept. Your heart just isn't in it, or let's say you're having a stressful time at work, or maybe your parents are dying. And so here comes the 14th, and I feel like when it's a designated date, it's kind of hard maybe
Mm-hmm.
to pull those emotions on that date.
Yeah.
You might actually be feeling very amorous on the 19th of March, you know? And so I think for me too, there's always been this big pressure that I should feel something on this day, and I just
Yeah.
didn't. But
It's not authentic. Yeah. It's
no,
created.
that's how I feel. It's a
Yeah.
created thing. It's a
Another duty.
demand that, yes, another obligation to fulfill to
Hmm.
say, I checked the Valentine's Day box.
And you're doing that supposedly for your partner or maybe yourself, or is it for society's sake? Yeah, that's the problem. I liked
Mhm.
just to turn this on a more positive note. I
Yeah,
I
not that
liked
we're that black though. I think we've been pretty good at holding not going into the black tunnel of Valentine's Day. Go ahead though. Let's turn it around to even higher than neutral.
I thought that you really went somewhere, and I'm like lost my train here. I always liked the approach of Valentine's Day that we had at school, which was the day of friendship. And it is also acknowledged as
Yeah,
the day of friendship. And that one, um, I don't think you need to, it doesn't feel inauthentic because it's actually a
that's
day of
true.
celebration of, of,
I
of
like that. You're
friendship.
right.
And we also, in elementary school, we also had to, of course, steer kids away from the idea of romantic relationships, but that wasn't the reason. It was the idea of friendship. So acknowledging friendship um, is an important thing to do. And then you buy those little Valentines, or you make the Valentines. You take time in
Yeah,
class to talk about the history of all of this, and then as you're doing this, the kids are making their Valentines, and then every kid in the class gets everything. If you're not giving anything, that's fine, but one needs to be given to everyone, and because we are
but is that
in a
authentic when you
I think
can't
it is.
stand five kids in the class who bullied you all year and you have to give them a Valentine?
Well, see, this is where you define the word Valentine's as acknowledgement of we're spending our time together. It's kind of like a family where,
Hmm,
there's, and
I like
when
that.
it's defined like that, then yes, it's an acknowledgement that you're in our lives and we're sharing this time together.
I like
So
that.
there are different kinds of friendship, a deeper friendship and less so, acquaintance friendship. And so we're just being, and part of friendship is respect. Part of being in a community is
Ooh,
respect.
you are so good, Sue. This is why I so admired you as my mentor. Keep going,
No,
Sue, because
so
what you've done is you've made me now feel comfortable with Valentine's. Keep going.
well, and
It's
that's what.
a sign of respect. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is if you're doing your Valentines by hand, all you've got to do is just say to such and so from me, and that's it. And it's acknowledgement. And otherwise, if you want to say something more sincere, then you say it, and you don't lie about it. So that's important. So I'd like that aspect of Valentine's Day. But anyhow,
Sue, again, by taking it into this place of friendship and familial, because it's true for that year, no matter what, you're a class, you're a unit, you are the family of the year. That is such a beautiful approach to teaching in that environment. And gosh darn it, where were you? Where were you?
What do
I
you
should have
mean?
reached out and said, "What are you doing for Valentine's Day in your class?" Because what you just did was you just lifted something in me right now. Like, gosh darn it.
No, you're so cute, but, that every day in class, that's how I approach my classes is and wanting the big picture and getting connecting ideas and making things fully relevant and deep and real, and, yeah, that was
Good
important to
job.
me. But
Good
anyhow,
job.
let's talk about the other thing that's going on today, Friday the 13th. We're dropping this on the
Do, do, do,
13th,
do, 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 do.
and
No, that's
tomorrow
Twilight Zone.
we're dropping this on the 13th, and we are talking about Valentine's Day on the 14th. So superstitions, it comes up on the 13th. So what superstitions do you follow?
I used to be very superstitious when I was young, but I'm not now.
How so?
And I used to uh, kind of feel like, do you remember? Okay, we're going to go back. This is superstition, sort of. Do you remember getting, it was a thing, letters from people that said, you
Chain
need to pass
letters?
this letter on,
Yeah, chain
and
letters.
otherwise, if you don't, bad things are going to happen?
Yep. Chain letters.
And oh, so that to me raised like the superstitious flair, the terror in me. And so I remember the first like round or two, I dutifully did it because I was so fearful. My God, something bad's going to happen. And then there was the year that because I hate writing. I hated that concept altogether, that I thought, you know what, let the bad thing happen. I got to risk it. And it was a horrible one. It was like death. I mean, it was the one I got was like, death will happen if you don't do this, and send it to like 10 other people. And
The
I didn't.
reality is death does happen, and so
Yeah,
it's
it does. But not because you didn't write the
right.
10 miserable letters you resented having to do. And it was a liberation because you know what? I survived it. And the next round and the next round. And then it got easier. And I'm throwing out these chain letters. Anyway, I think that would be my only superstition that I really remember that really scared me. How about you?
Oh, that's weird. No, I wasn't big on superstition, although one could say there's a lot of superstition around any organized religion. There's ritual and so forth, but there
Mm,
are superstitions as well. Um,
mm.
I could I that was
Oh,
part of it, but to me, I was one of the things I do is I do knock on wood. So when something happens, I'm like, "Oh, don't
yeah.
talk about it. Don't put it out there on, knock on wood." And I'll
Yeah.
actually do that. The other one I do, when you're a kid, step on the crack, you'll break your mother's
Oh, break your
back.
mother's back.
Okay, well, see, I don't have a mother anymore, but,
Yeah.
um, I
Ooh,
it
I
it
guess we stepped on cracks.
but no, when I'm walking the dog or I'm bored and I nothing else comes to mind or I see cracks, then I'll go, "Oh, should I step on it? Should I not step on it?" That so it still does come up in my mind, in my thinking, and it's weird. And then I'll go, "Well, I don't believe any of that," and I'll just walk. And then I'm noticing that I'm walking on cracks part of the time, and other times I will develop a pattern in my walking so I don't step on the crack. And
Oh,
it's
you've
like
got a
this
little
is
bit
so
there.
silly. And then yeah, it's so silly. The a lot of people have superstitions around sports, like they have to wear
Oh,
their
so
their
true.
best the socks, the lucky socks, or the hat, or
The lucky
maybe the
ritual.
pardon.
The lucky ritual.
Yeah, like blow on a die and you throw it when you're playing something with dice. I don't know that there. I might do something like that, but it's more for fun. It's not for real. I don't wear lucky. Although, think about it, like Super Bowl, did you put on anything? I had a Seattle shirt I got in Seattle. I put on my Seattle shirt. I mean, is that superstition or is that just
No, that's patriotism. That's um no,
so
that's
there's
just playing with the fun of it. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Those are the ones that I and the other only other one that I do. I don't know why I came up with it, but when I got on an airplane, I always like to, as I'm stepping onto the airplane, I like to touch the outside of the airplane. I just kind of give it a pat, and then I go in. It's like something I do for luck that I kind of developed myself. So that's superstition. I did tell my daughter that, and so now she does that too, and it's kind of funny. So
That's
we have our
sweet.
own little superstition
Ritual.
about airplanes.
First I'm gonna add on to and step on a line and you'll break your mother's spine.
Ah,
And then I want to add that, you know what I do as you were talking about that? Find a penny
I'll pick it up all day
and
long.
all
You'll
day
have good.
long you'll have good luck.
Yeah.
Exactly. And hold on, I caught myself the other night. There was a penny on the floor. And I actually picked it up and I kissed it.
Oh, that's weird. Why would you
So,
kiss it?
nope, because it's good luck. It's good luck. It
And you
was on the
kiss it.
head. I looked at Abe and it's like, come on, I need millions of these.
You know where that has been, and you're kissing it?
Oh, it had been on the floor for a couple of days at least, so whatever
Money is the
germs were there are dead.
dirtiest thing
I
out
know
there,
they
they
say
say.
that. You know
Yes.
what though? That's what makes me so darn healthy.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's why you did it. Okay, I understand now. All right. Yeah, well, we hope all our listeners are enjoying these less than like super popular holidays. Friday the 13th is always fun at school. Valentine's Day prep also is always fun at school. And may they be fun for all of you, fun and meaningful in ways that are authentic.
And before we close, I have one last comment about the Valentine situation. Sue, are there public schools that have 24 people or less in a classroom?
I don't know.
The like the majority of them? Is it just California where we're busting at the seams or are they busting everywhere? I'm assuming they are.
No, I know that there's smaller class sizes in other states. Yeah. You could
Well,
you
the
could
reason
ask
I
your
say this is
Bjorn.
because we go and we get our Valentine's Day, or we don't, but kids do, and they come in packs of 24. Have you noticed? So it's like you always have to get 2 boxes, and then you have all this leftover, right? Because you're at, right. So I was just wondering, like, is that a capitalistic thing? Is it because most of the other states have such small classes?
I've seen
Or
boxes of 16, and so they just give you
then you
less
have
and
to buy
charge.
three
Well, they
boxes.
buy they give you less and charge you, the same.
Yeah,
What I used
kind of
to
like
do,
ice cream.
what I always used to, I didn't understand what your comment was with the ice cream.
Because when you back in the day, back in the 90s, when you bought a gallon of ice cream, it was a gallon. And now it's you say it's a gallon, but you look at it and every year it gets smaller and smaller and the price goes up.
Yeah.
So it's the same as the Valentine's Day. It's now 16 for the price of what was 24. Just saying.
Okay. And what I would do with my leftover Valentines, because I always had them, I'd put them in a box. And for those
Yeah.
kids who didn't have folks who went out and got
Oh,
Valentines, or maybe
you're so
forgot or
good.
whatever, I would let them get into that stash and make their own Valentines. That was always
Beautiful.
useful. So that's something you can do, is take them
Beautiful.
to your local school and offer them that idea.
That's beautiful. On that.
Thanks for listening. Now let's pack up this week's episode in the trunk.
Ride shotgun and be a part of our adventure by clicking on the plus sign to follow our show. This will help our ratings and, more importantly, inspire us to keep creating fun and engaging content. We would love to hear from you in the comments sections or email us at retiredpodcastnewtred@gmail.com. Use the fast track lane by sharing episodes with friends, family, and anyone who would like to join us on a road trip through retirement.
Be sure to check the show notes for links and contact information. Retired is chauffeured by Sue Britz and Tina Lokkbakk. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Sue Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Buckle up and tune in next week so that you won't miss your chance to join our retired road trip.